Okay, let's look at our third type. This is where you need to find exact values of trig functions based on the unit circle. So the first one we have is cotangent of negative pi over 3 minus secant of pi over 6. Well, to begin with, cotangent is an odd function, which means if you have a negative angle, you can put negative out in front. And then it matches our unit circle. Now remember, cotangent is equal to, in terms of our unit circle, x over y. And secant is equal to 1 over x. So let's go to our unit circle. And this is negative, and we're looking at pi over 3. So we got pi over 3 here, and it's x over y. So x over y. So we have 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. So we got 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. Minus, and this is 1 over x, so I'm going to look at pi over 6. So I come over here, here's pi over 6. Here's x, square root of 3 over 2. So we'll have 1 over square root of 3 over 2. Well, remember, if you have a single fraction over a single fraction, the denominators are the same, that's going to drop. So we're going to have negative 1 over square root of 3 minus, and if you have a single fraction downstairs, you can flip it and multiply it times the top part. Well, the 1 disappears, so we have 2 over square root of 3. And actually, that seems weird, but they both have the same denominator now, so I can combine those together. So I get negative 3 over square root of 3. Now we don't want the square root downstairs, so we'll multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. So negative 3 times square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3. So that gives us negative 3 square root of 3 over 3. And then the 3's cancel, and we got negative square root of 3 as our answer. Well, let's look at our second example of that type. Let's see, 7 cosecant of 3 pi over 4 minus cotangent of negative 2 pi over 3. Well, again, cotangent is an odd function, so if you got a negative angle in there, you can take the negative and put it out in front, and there's already a negative there, so that becomes a positive. Now, in terms of our unit circle, cosecant is 1 over y, and cotangent is x over y. So let's look these up. Here's 3 pi over 4. So I'll come over to 3 pi over 4. We're looking at y. Y is square root of 2 over 2. Plus. And we're going to go look at 2 pi over 3, and we're going to find the x and the y. So here I am, 2 pi over 3. Here's my x, which is negative 1/2. And my y, which is square root of 3 over 2. Okay. On our first parentheses here, we got a fraction down below, so we'll flip it, take a reciprocal of it, multiply times the top. So we got 7 times 2 square root of 2. The 1 disappears, it's trivial. These both have, this is a single fraction over a single fraction. They both have 2 as a denominator, so the 2 is going to cancel. So we got minus 1 over square root of 3. So that gives us 14 over square root of 2 minus 1 over square root of 3. Don't want the radicals downstairs, so I'll multiply my first fraction, top and bottom, by the square root of 2. And this one I'll multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. And we get 14 square root of 2 over 2 minus square root of 3 over 3. Now, I could simplify this, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So that gives us 14 and 2 both divisible by 2. So that gives me 7 square root of 2 over 1 minus square root of 3 over 3. Now I left the 1 there because I want to combine these two together. And to do that, I need to get a common denominator, which would be 3. And here I multiplied the bottom part by 3, so I have to multiply the top part by 3. So that would be 21 square root of 2 minus square root of 3 over 3. Well, I got the same denominator, so I'll merge together the tops. So I got 21 square root of 2 minus square root of 3 over 3 is my answer. And let's look at our third example. Okay, I got sine pi over 3 minus cosine pi over 2. In terms of our unit circle, sine is y and cosine is x. So let's go look these up. Pi over 3, here's pi over 3, and we said we want y, which will be the square root of 3 over 2. Minus, and go to pi over 2. Here's pi over 2. Cosine is our x, which is 0. So our answer is square root of 3 over 2. That one is pretty easy. And let's look at our last example. Which would be 5 secant 9 pi over 4 minus cosecant negative 2 pi over 3. First off, the 9 pi over 4, if I change that to a mixed number, that'd be, 2 and 1/4 pi. Now here, cosecant is an odd function. The only ones that are even are cosine and secant. So in this one, since it's an odd function, I'll take the negative, put it out in front, and since there's already negative there, that becomes positive. And we got cosecant of 2 pi over 3. Now on this one, secant is a periodic function, as well as cosine, sine, and cosecant. And with all 4 of those, you can subtract 2 pi. So here I can subtract 2 pi, and it's going to give us the same value on a unit circle. Well, when you subtract those, that gives you 5 secant pi over 4, 1/4 pi, plus cosecant of 2 pi over 3. Now remember, with cotangent and tangent, you can add or subtract pi or 180 degrees. Well, secant on our unit circle is 1 over x, and cosecant is 1 over y. Well, if I look up pi over 4, pi over 4 is one of those nice ones, and we want x, which is square root of 2 over 2. Here we're going to look at 2 pi over 3, and we're going to look up the y. So 2 pi over 3, and the y is square root of 3 over 2. Okay, both of these have a single fraction downstairs. We'll flip it and multiply times the top part. So I got 5 times 2 over square root of 2. And this one, flip that and multiply times a 1, and I got 2 over square root of 3. So that gives us 10 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3. Don't want the radicals down there, so I'll multiply top and bottom of my first fraction by square root of 2. And over here, I'll multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. So it gives us 10 square root of 2 over 2 plus 2 square root of 3 over 3. I can simplify this. 10 and 2 both divisible by 2, so it gives me 5 square root of 2 over 1 plus 2 square root of 3 over 3. Now I want to get a common denominator, which would be 3. So I'll rewrite each fraction with that new denominator. This one already had 3, so we're fine. Here we multiply the bottom part by 3, so we have to multiply the top part by 3. So that becomes 15 square root of 2. So my answer is 15 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3 over 3. And that's the end of that problem.